What's going on? Welcome back to another Warzone top 5 video. Today we're going to be taking a look at some updated setups here a week or so after the season 4 update. A lot of stuff's been found out, so let's hop into it. As always, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a like for the algorithm and subscribe, and let's hop into it. So our first gun today we're going to take a look at is going to be the ISO 45. So this brand new SMG came into Warzone and took it by storm. This thing is incredibly good, pretty much the fastest TTK in the entirety of the game right now, and this is a super agile, super mobile SMG. It's definitely the #1 meta SMG in the game. Here's gonna be my overview of everything I'm going to be running on this thing right now. I don't really like the iron sights. That's like kind of the only downside to this gun, period, but otherwise this is a fantastic gun. So first thing is going to be the EX Raptor V2. So this is going to be a great barrel here for aimed out sight speed, movement speed, and hip recoil control. Absolutely love running this thing. The tune on this here is going to be a -0.23 and a -0.22. Got to get a little bit more of that, aimed out sight speed, aim walking speed. Now we're going to move on up in here to the laser section for that beautiful 1 MW quickfire laser to give us more ADS speed. So ADS speed is super crucial, especially in close quarters when you're trying to make sure you're like able to aim down sights as fast as humanly possible and hit those shots. So it's really good for that. The tune on that is going to be a -0.44 and a -32.90. After that, we're going to go down here, throw on that 45 round mag. So we pretty much only have the 12 round mag, the base 30 rounds, or of course the 45, and the 45 is definitely necessary. So 110%, this is like a non-negotiable thing here. Kind of most of this setup is non-negotiable, but the 45 round mag is definitely what you should be running. Next up, we have the EXP shear, which will be right below my face cam here. The tune on that is going to be all the way maxed out, pretty much there for ADS speed and sprint to fire speed. This is one of those attachments you can actually max out. And then for our last attachment, we have the Demo Fade F-Tac stocks. This is going to be just covered up in my face cam right there. But aim walking speed and sprint speed, overall a fantastic attachment. And the tunes on this thing here, as long as they don't move, is going to be a -2.06 and -1.39. So what we're going to do is we're going to hop in here to the firing range real quick and kind of showcase to you guys that this thing is incredible. So close range, obviously, like I said, the iron sights aren't the greatest, but right there, I mean, this thing's gonna kill super fast. You have great, strafe speed, mobility. This is a fantastic SMG. Next up, we're gonna take a look here at one of my favorite meta assault rifles, and that's gonna be the M4. So this thing is incredible. You can run this a variety of different ways, but it's got a great recoil control, a lot of damage range. I mean, it's also got great mobility. So overall, this is one of my favorites to run in the entire game. Let me show you guys how I have it set up. So here's my general base overview of how I have this thing set up. This is a really great build here, but let's get into it. So we have the Hardbanger D20 first. Sound suppression, bullet velocity, damage range, recoil smoothness, overall a fantastic attachment here to be able to run on this gun. We have that tuned out here for a +0.81 and a -0.90. After that, we're gonna go up in here and we're gonna throw on the high tower barrel. So out of all the barrels in here, this is definitely the best one to be able to run. We absolutely love the high tower barrel, and the tune on that here is gonna be a +0.19 and a +0.22. After that, we're gonna go down here and throw on the F-Tac Ripper 56. So aiming idle stability, hipfire accuracy, and recoil stabilization. This gets used quite a bit here in a variety of different builds because it's such a good underbarrel. It's just such a great foregrip. And we're gonna tune this here. Let me get over that tune at a -0.36 and -0.27. And then we're gonna go on down here, throw on that 45 round mag, which you guys definitely have the option to go for that 60 round mag. If you're playing something like trios and quads, probably a little bit of a better option to run that 60, but otherwise the 45s can be perfectly fine if you're playing something like solos, which is kind of what I do a lot of the time. So 45 works out great there. And then for lastly, we have the Aim Op V4. You guys kind of know what that does. I mean, it's a pretty popular sight here in Warzone, and we have this tuned out for a -1.65 and all the way maxed out there on the bottom for that far distance to push it as far away from us as possible to get as much peripheral in our view. So this is my full build there for the M4. And here's how the M4 functions in the firing range, as I was going to show you guys. So close range, medium range, long range, super easy to be able to use. You have pretty solid mobility. It's not too slow. Overall, a great AR. Now we're going to be taking a look here at another SMG that I personally really like and I've had great success with here this season, the Vaznev 9K. So this was really good in the previous season, and I feel like a lot more so that it's taken over because we have the ISO, we have the Vaznev, and the Lockman sub has kind of been getting pushed a little bit more so out of that meta slot. I personally find this to be so much more effective than the Lockman sub, so I've been using this a lot more, and I got a great build for it. Here's my overview for how I'm running my Vaznev 9K. This is a pretty easy one to be able to kind of get the grasp of love. It's super easy to be able to use. First thing in here is going to be the Spiral V 3.5 flash hider. So this is kind of a newer attachment in season 4 that people are running on their guns. So muzzle flash concealment and recoil steadiness. This just happens to work out better than, like, you know, your Bruin Cubic comp, your lock shot, you know, pretty much any of these other compensators out here. This just happens to be the best and give you the least amount of downside for the most amount of benefit, which is what we're really looking for here. The tune on that is going to be a -0.74 and a +0.17. At skipping that barrel and the underbarrel, going straight up in here to the laser for the Schlager PEQ box IV or 4, whatever you want to call it. But you get that increase in ADS speed, so that's what we're looking for here. Just like we had for the ISO 45, we're trying to maximize our ADS speed in close quarters. And with the tune on that is going to be a -32 or -0.32 and a -14.81. Now we're gonna go down here and throw on the 45 round mag. I mean, obviously we only have the one option for the 45. That's kind of like what we have. So it's either 30 or 45, and you got to go for that 45. On the back here, we're gonna go for that true tack grip. Of course, sprint to fire speed and aim down sight speed. And then we have the tune on that of a -0.39 and -0.15. And then lastly, that's kind of covered up on my face cam here, is gonna be that beautiful O trees at stock for aim blocking speed and sprint speed. And then we're going to have this tuned out here as follows, as a -0.13 and -1.39. So that is that. Now let's get into the firing range. And here's how the Vaznev 9K actually is in the firing range. Great mobility right here. You can strafe speed, so close range, and then medium range. Very, very easy to be able to use and control. Definitely recommend you guys use this. Next up, we're going to take a look here at the SO14, aka the DMR 2.0. So we had the DMR in Warzone 1, which kind of took over everything by storm. But this gun right here is a little bit underused and under noticed, but it is incredibly, incredibly effective. You're going to be able to down so many people, and it's got a crazy big magazine size, and for being so effective with a single shot mode. Here's my general overview for my attachments. This is a really OP gun. I uploaded a full video on this, and I was absolutely frying in it. For any of you guys that haven't seen that, go check it out. But here is going to be my attachment breakdown. So we have the Lockshot K85 or KT85 for vertical and horizontal recoil control. Just kind of stabilize that when we're spam firing it. The tune on that's going to be a +0.49 and +0.29. After that, we're gonna go up in here and throw on the Boremaster barrel, the 22 Boremaster. Bullet velocity, damage range, recoil control, and hipfire accuracy increases. We definitely need that. It's gonna make this thing super, super effective. The tune on that is gonna be a +0.16 and -0.13. After that, we're gonna go down here for that FTAC Gripper 56. You guys know what it does, so I'm not really gonna explain it too much there. But the tune on this thing here is gonna be a +0.28, my bad, and a +0.40. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna go down here. So this is kind of where you run into some options you have. So the 25 round mag is not bad. If you're playing something like solos, you can definitely get away with the 25 round mag. But if you're playing something like trios and quads, the 50 round mag is gonna be much more beneficial. And I even ran this in solos with the 50 round mag, and it's perfectly fine anyways. So I'd probably just suggest to go with the 50, but you can swap it out for that 25. Lastly, we have the SZ Recharge DX sight. This is kind of similar to the AIM-OP B4. I just want to try something a little bit different. I've seen people use this. It actually works out really nicely, so I've been actually really enjoying that. The tune on that here is going to be a -0.87, and all the way maxed out there on the bottom, -1.95. So let's get into that firing range. All right, so in here in the firing range, we're going to be able to see what it can do at close range, and pretty much at close range, it's going to be like a 2-shot headshot, medium range, and long range, it's a 2-shot headshot. But the best part about this gun is that when you can actually spam fire it in the single fire mode as opposed to putting it in fully auto, and it kills really fast. That's what makes it incredibly good. So we got that. You can see that. And that. I mean, you can pretty much spam fire this at any range. Lastly, but definitely not least for our top 5, we're going to be taking a look at the Lockman 556. This is probably the #1 overall AR to use in the entirety of Warzone right now. A lot of people really like this thing. Incredibly low recoil, great fire rate, great damage profile. This is definitely taking over as the top meta contender here in the Warzone. Here's my general attachment overview for this gun so you guys can see what I'm running. It's a pretty standard one here, but let's go and break it down for you. So first thing, Harbinger D20. We ran this on the M4, so you guys kind of know what's going on with that. Not going to explain it too much. The tune on that here is going to be a +1.08 and a +0.45. After that, we're going to go up in here for the Lockman Wrap barrel. So this is the most effective barrel you can run on this gun. Kind of like the high tower is for the M4. That is what it is for this gun. So we have that. The tune on this is going to be a +0.40 and a +0.15. After that, we're going to go down here. FTAC Gripper 56 here once again. I'm not even going to click on it because you guys already know what it does. But the tune on that is going to be a -0.39 and a +0.21. Now down here into the magazine section. So once again, we kind of come to this conclusion of we can either run the 60 round mag or the 40 round mag. So it's up to you guys, but generally speaking, even in solos, I'm running the 60 round mag. This is just one of those guns where I feel like I'd like to have 60 in my magazine, so I just kind of go for that always. And then lastly, we have the AIMOP V4 up here, which is a tried and true sight. You guys kind of get the deal. It's a pretty easy one to be able to run on your gun. Let me see, where's that? Right there. I mean, you guys can run this on like virtually anything and it works out great. But the tune on that here is gonna be a negative 1.35 and a negative 1.65. So that's my full build. Now let's get into the firing range. All right, now we're gonna demonstrate this thing here, close, medium, and long range. So we have this close range, medium range, long range, probably the easiest AR to control out of all of them. Super good. But that's been my top 5. You guys enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like, subscribe, notifications turned on. Of course, check out this other video on screen, and I'll see you guys later.